Hello and welcome to Ravens Plains Episode 3. We're at KTVC Cherry Capital in Traverse City, Michigan, inside a 550 Citation 2. And we'll be taking off from here and heading to Grand Rapids, Michigan, our KGRR, or Gerald R. Ford International Airport. I wanted to take a moment to talk about the fact that I haven't been putting videos out that often for this series. I did do some tutorials, like the Ortho for XP tutorial, a very simple one to get that up and running, and also another simple tutorial for optimizing VR for X-Plane for the Oculus. And if you want to check either one of those tutorials out, the links are in the description below. Recently, I've just been working on scenery for X-Plane, learning how to texture the runways and taxiways to building assets and all the different things that you can build and create for X-Plane. I'm really interested in doing some payware airports, and I'm just looking at what my options are and the different things that I can do inside this engine to give a really cool experience to people who buy my airports. Right now I have installed a few visual upgrades, Mr. X Airports HD, and also Mr. X's like static aircraft, so I get better aircraft at the airports and stuff. But these are just temporary. I just wanted to see how he was building things and how he was creating stuff, so I can do that on my own for my own airports. It's very important to me that I create my own assets for the airports that I'm creating, so that I can give a unique experience that can't be found elsewhere with other freeware assets. And I'll be talking about that later when we get to Grand Rapids. I just wanted to show you some of the experiments I've been doing and what I've been learning. I polished up Sparta using all X-Plane assets. The Sparta Airport in Sparta, Michigan. It appeared in episode 1, I believe, and it was just cleaning up the ramp starts, the runways, the textures, or using the correct textures, I should say, swapping out some buildings, and just trying to get the airport. Oh, and the lighting systems as well, because those were not accurate at all. And just cleaning all that up and learning how to place all these things in the editor. And yeah, I think it turned out pretty well. Another airport that I updated that appeared, I believe, maybe in episode 1 or episode 2 is the Hastings Airport in Hastings, Michigan. And I cleaned up runways, buildings, stuff like that. But also the runways were not long enough. They actually extended one of the runways because they actually fly a jet out of there, apparently. I was looking at the Google Maps, which you can see here. And yeah, there is looks like an FA-50 on the tarmac there, and that's probably why they extended the back of the runway so far, so that thing could take off or land successfully at the airport. And so I added that in there along with cleaning up the lights, and I can't wait to pick up Carenado's FA-50 and try it out in that airport myself. The other unique thing with this airport is it has 2 grass runways, which I thought was pretty cool, crossing runways even. And I may be going back to that later to do all custom assets. The textures right now you're seeing are from Mr. X's Airport HD textures, so I'll have to go through and replace it with my own. Another area that I was working on, not necessarily an airport, was Wolf Lake in Michigan, which is a big lake that I've been to before, but I picked up an Icon A5, and I was flying it around. I tried to land on the lake, but the scenery just wasn't that great around there. So I was playing around with some water effects, and then also I was making new trees and learning how to actually get those trees to light correctly and get them working as well. So now I can make my own custom trees for my airports, as well as some water effect stuff, but I still don't think that's the best way to do it. So I'll be looking into that further at a later date. And like I said before, I was working on doing runway textures, and I was experimenting in KGRR, where we're headed, with different runway textures and stuff. Right now, they're just default textures, but these textures here were ones I was working on one of the smaller runways that was asphalt, and trying to get the HDR working in the normal maps to look really good. Also, I was playing around with facades as well, which facades are basically like really cheap buildings to create, so I was playing around with texturing those and making my own of that. So here's, you know, some custom facades that I've been working on in the engine, and making sure those light correctly for day and night as well. So for the flight today, we're going to be going from KTVC, which is in Michigan, and you can see it here in the video. Remember that hangar, the Harbor Air hangar, which we're parked outside of right now. Remember that because I'll be talking about that in just a bit. And then we're flying from there over to Grand Rapids, Michigan, over here, and we'll be landing at the runway straight ahead there. And remember that tower, because I have a surprise at the end of the video showing off what I've been working on at that airport. So Harbor Air, which we are parked in front of right now, let's have a look here. And here it is, Harbor Air. Yeah, I went and modeled the hangar. This is the first model I've made for X-Plane, and it has normal maps and texture maps, and modeled all of it in Blender. It's my first time using Blender, so yeah, I got to learn all about it. And you can see the tracks where the doors open, and take a little walk around it here a little bit. Over to the side. These lights actually turn on at night, so that was cool, a little experiment. So yeah, I've been learning how to model and texture, and I think I'm getting pretty good at it. So from here we're going to take off and head to Grand Rapids. So we have our GPU hooked up here, so why don't we board the plane and make our way to Grand Rapids. Alright, today we're flying a 550 Citation 2, and I'm going to be going down the checklist here. Oxygen checks, circuit breakers, anti-ice off. Is to normal. Ignition to normal. To about, what is this thing? Okay. 32 select battery. Come on there. Here we go. Check voltage, 24 volts. 24 volts. AC power to on. Avionics to on.
Awareness test complete.
Ready.
Right. Speed bug. I said this is about 220 out of here. 0.175. 9.175. 119.175. There we go. We set this to 2992. Alright, and now we got to set up where we're going here. Flight plan. Okay. KTVC. 2 KGRR. I guess we got AWE. AWE. Cute. Cool. We are set up. So let's nav beacon on. Lights to on. Okay. Okay, AC power, avionics off. This one on. And then let's start this engine. We're going to start the right one first. And we're looking for 8%. Roll 8%. Engine ignition to on. That's 8%. Alright, so we got two engines that are on. Generator switches to on. There's our on. Gen. Alright. Passenger safety lights to on. So we're going to call ATC here.
Citation 2, cleared at departure. Gerald International has filed. Maintain 1000 squawk 47.
Flight controls.
3, 3,
Alright.
3, 6.
It's autopilot. So I'm going to set this to on the nav. Goes to GPS.
3, 6. Taxi via Kilo.
Test reverse thrust.
Charlie, hold short of runway. 3, 6.
Normal. Hold on. Click. There we go.
550 citation.
Set flaps for takeoff.
6. Taxi via Kilo.
Alright, we should be good to go here. Let's taxi on out and get this show on the road. Two on. Set pitot heat on. So interior lights, that, and also light on too. All right, TCAS. This one. TCAS on. Anti-skid to on. All right. We are set for takeoff. We're at full power. around to capture the autopilot. I'll turn that on. Looks great out there, huh? Alright, I'm gonna do autopilot on, everything on. This thing should. Wait, that's not what I wanted. Oh, that's autopilot. Wow. Alright. Now autopilot's on. This thing should take over. We can close this. I don't need that anymore. And as we climb to 7,000. Alright, so cruise. Landing lights can come off. Mission to normal. Missions are to normal. Cruise check complete. So if you like what you're seeing, you like this content, please like and subscribe. Leave a comment below. I'd love to hear from you. Hear what you think. Let me know what I just did wrong, because I'm sure there's a few things. Well, I hope everyone's enjoying this content. I'm having a lot of fun making it, learning a lot. It's one thing I do like about X-Plane and just flight sim in general, especially in VR. You have to learn the planes, and I went and bought a bunch of them and then realized, holy crap, I have to learn the planes. So yeah, I've flown this one a few times. I flew the Premier 1A a lot. Of course, I've flown the SR20 a lot. And I have that DA-62 that I flew and burned out the engines, which is, I'll link the video to that. What else do I own? An Icon A5, which is amazing. I flew that, landed in the water. Wish there was a fishing game attached to X-Plane for that plane. Let's see, what else? Oh, I own a Saab 340, and I've only flown that once or twice, and that one's a little bit higher learning curve than the jets even. Oh, and I own a DC-3 as well, which I've also burned up the engines on. But that's a whole different kind of learning. That's more flying than learning electronics. Alright, so we're going to let this cruise, and we should be in Grand Rapids. What is the timer on this thing? One of these things has it, that thing doesn't. The heck is it? Well, we're going to be there in 66 nautical miles. And now sit back, relax, and we'll make our way to Grand Rapids.
Autopilot.
Turn off the autopilot. Get ready to fly here. Gear down. Set of flaps. There we go. A little more power. More power. There goes nothing. Ooh, floating. Ah, a little bit of a bounce. Flaps up. Not a bad landing. And we're going to taxi on over here to the tower. After that landing here. And usually I'd be parking over there by Signature, but I got something to show you. So I just finished modeling and texturing the tower. So we're to cruise on over kind of around Delta here. As you can see, I'm still working on this airport, but I wanted to show you what I've finished so far. And so here we are at KGRR, Gerald Ford International Airport. And this is the tower I just finished modeling and texturing. As you can see, I'm still modeling and texturing a lot of things around here. But why don't we step on out and follow me up into the tower. We'll have a look. Oh, and here we are up on the tower. As you can see, it's quite a view. And there's our plane down there. And yeah. We could head up top here, up to the cab, where the air traffic controllers are, and how about up onto where the beacon is. Yeah, it's quite a view up here. So yeah, these are things I'm going to be building into the airport, which is basically what I'm calling VRPOIs, or points of interest, which are places in the airport which have a little bit more detail that you can have a look around, walk around. That'd be like this tower here, or even hangars, or being able to walk into the FBO, little things like that I want to add to the airport that just brings out a little bit more of the place other than just some buildings around and some planes. But yeah, this is as far as I got so far. But yeah, as you can see, I have quite a bit to texture. A lot of this is just stand-in models, but yeah, it's still coming along. But yeah, it's pretty cool being up here though. And, being able to walk around the tower. Turn around and wave at the air traffic controllers, and I think we'll be ending this episode here. If you like this content, please click that like button and subscribe so you're notified when I do release content, because it is a bit sporadic. You can always find this channel at ravensplains.com, and you can find me on Twitter at ravenblack, and you can also find me at Twitch. I'm going to be doing a new series called Monday Night Flights. I'm just doing the flights in VR live on Twitch, and you can find me on Twitch at /ravenblack. And yeah, thanks so much for joining me, and I hope you have a great day.